Welcome to AESOP. We're going to go over some important instructions today about how to enter your absence. This is going to be the view that you'll see when you initially log in. You're going to want to scroll down here to go ahead and start entering your information. Make sure you choose the date for when you will be absent. You can choose more than one day if your absence will span over the course of a few days, but typically you'll just select the day that you plan to be out. Your next option will be to look at the substitute required feature. If you plan to be out for an entire day, you always want to make sure that this is marked as yes. However, if you work in a position where maybe you don't need a sub, or let's say that you're going to go to a doctor's appointment on your planning period and you're not going to need a sub, please make sure to choose no. This is very, very important because if you request a sub and a sub shows up, but you really didn't need one, then we do have to pay that substitute for their time. So it's very, very important that you make sure to check this correctly. Your next selection will be for your absence reasons. Bereavement leave is going to be if you have typically someone in your immediate family that has passed away. You can check the board policy in your teacher handbook about the reasons for bereavement leave. Typically, if it's a friend or someone, you will need to choose a personal day for that because it's typically only for family members. Field trip. Make sure that you see Mr. Morlane prior to entering any field trip absences and make sure that you have the required paperwork completed for that. If it's an athletic field trip, so you're going to a state competition or to a game that will require you to get a sub, make sure that you've also gotten approval from Coach Gravitt prior to entering your absence to make sure you have all the information entered correctly. Jury duty. If you get a summons for jury duty, stop by and see Mr. Wolf or Ms. McCants in the West Hall office. There is specific information they need to go over with you in order to make sure that you enter your jury duty absences correctly. Personal leave. You can choose personal leave. Remember that only 3 days per school year are allowed to be taken for personal leave. You do need to submit a personal leave request form, and that it must be submitted 10 days in advance of you taking the personal leave. So you cannot enter personal leave overnight, and please make sure to get that form filled out correctly. Sick leave and staff development are probably going to be the primary two options that you'll be choosing. Sick leave is if you or one of your immediate family members is sick, or staff development is going to be for any professional learning that you're attending, a conference, maybe something here at the school, you're working with your content team. If you're doing staff development, make sure you fill out the professional learning request form, and that is in your teacher handbook as well. You'll need to get that signed either by Ms. Hewitt or you can get that signed by your TEKS administrator. Please remember that we do have critical days throughout the school year, so that's any day that there is a holiday, school holiday, the day before or after a school holiday, and then any professional development days. You're not allowed to take personal leave on the critical days, so just please be aware of that as you're requesting those dates. All right, the next option is going to be to choose your time period. So you can choose a full day, which will be your full 8 hours. You can choose a half day AM or a half day PM. The custom option allows you to enter in just, let's say, 1 hour. So let's say during first period, you're going to go to a doctor's appointment from 8:25 to 9:15. You can enter that time frame in. Just make sure to choose no sub required. Once again, if it's on your planning period and you will not need a sub. In the notes to administrator, please enter any information that you would like for Mr. Wolf or Ms. McCants to see. This is very important for professional leave. You want to enter in the professional leave code that you're going to be using. A lot of times, the county office will provide a code for you to use to pay for your sub. If it's something that just the school is paying for, then you can just put school funds, and that lets Ms. McCants know that we're paying for it here locally. Also, notes to administrator might include, field trip, you could say athletic, and it's going to be the state competition, and that just lets Melissa know, once again, how to charge it as well. Notes to substitute. This is very, very important. You need to make sure that you have your planning periods listed here. You have your lunch period, so what lunch you have. For your parking spot, you're typically going to want to put in your parking spot number. However, if you are going to be on campus for some type of professional development and there is a sub in your classroom, then you're going to want to denote that they need to park in the visitor parking. So please make sure these notes are very clear. This is very helpful to Ms. McCants because it prevents her from having to look up all of your planning periods as she's making the sub list each day. If you are a floater, so you float to different classrooms each period, Please make sure you then type out which periods you have a class, and then also denote what room location the sub can go to. Once again, this is important information to enter just to help Miss McCants as she's entering the subs each day. Our subs do see these requirements listed here with attached info and parking. So all of this is vital to enter as you're doing a sub each day. Then you can go ahead and go to create absence. If you're missing something, it will turn a specific section red. So that's a good feature to look at, and just know that you can enter and correct your errors. So once again, it's not going to let you put it in for less than an hour. So for that custom option, make sure to have that correct time in there. You will receive a confirmation number. This is something good to go ahead and send to your department chair and your teams administrator so that they know that you are out whenever you've created an absence. You'll then go to the scheduled absences tab as soon as that absence is created. If for some reason you've made a mistake or you need to do something to correct your information here, you can go to view details. And so it's going to give you this option right here to edit your absence. And you can go in and then make any adjustments necessary and save once again. Let's say, for instance, you've decided you're not going to be out at all. Then you can just delete, and it'll say, do you sure you want to cancel that absence? And you can go ahead and click on yes. So lots of different features here, but it's very, very important that as you're entering all this information, you're doing it accurately and you're taking your time to really make sure that what you're entering is correct. If you have any questions, please stop by West Hall office and see Mr. Wolf or Ms. McCann. Thank you.